Hello and welcome. My name is TJ Gamble and I am the e-commerceaholic. B2B e-commerce is on the rise. Everywhere you look, people are touting the growth of B2B e-commerce. And we're going to talk about why, with the introduction of Magento's B2B features, the timing is perfect for you to start building or rebuilding the B2B e-commerce side of your business. Pioneers get arrows, settlers get land. One of my favorite quotes in the entire world right now, and I attribute it to Jamerson's own Gary Smith. And if you Google it, you're going to find that it's been around a lot longer than Gary has, but that's where I first heard it. And I love this quote because I enjoy efficiency of language. And this quote, in 6 words, accurately conveys the perils of being an innovator and a leader and the first one into a market, while also conveying the benefits of waiting for those leaders to go out there and trailblaze and do their thing and build infrastructure, and for you to come in right behind them, time it perfectly, and gather the same rewards. And as we know in business, timing is everything. In business, you're always looking for ideal market conditions, and that's conditions where the reward is high, the risk is low, and competition's low. And if you can find these, then it's just a gold mine. I mean, think about it. It's a market where there's a lot of reward to be had. It doesn't cost a lot of money to do it, and there's nobody else doing it. I mean, if you know of one of those conditions, you hit me up on Twitter, you let me know, we'll do that. But there's a reason that I've got pictures here of unicorns and Sasquatches, in that they don't really exist, or at least they don't hardly ever exist. And when they do, they're for brief glimpses in time. And it's usually because technology came into a market and changed an emerging market. In an emerging market with ideal conditions, it usually only lasts for that brief glimpse in time, because once the barrier to entry has been lowered, well, then you have competitors flooding into the market and you no longer have ideal market conditions. Let's talk about B2B e-commerce and why I think now is the perfect time for you to be rethinking your B2B e-commerce strategy and technology stack. And let's start with the history of B2B e-commerce. Typically, B2B e-commerce has been expensive. You had to build your own system, or you had to find a system like Magento 1.0 and add all these customized modules on top of it. And it just gave you this entire technology stack that you had to support, because it was custom written for your business. And technical debt slows you down. The pace of technology is picking up. More and more things are coming out. Customer expectations are getting higher and higher. You've got companies like Amazon that are really pushing the envelope when it comes to customer expectations. And they haven't really done so as much in B2B e-commerce as they have on the B2C side, but it's coming. They've already started having, B2B Prime memberships and things. So you're going to have to provide the customer experience that your customers expect and demand, a more B2C-like customer experience, which is going to be even more difficult, weighed down with all of the technical debt of a custom-written e-commerce system. Because it was difficult, because it was expensive, a lot of B2B companies just didn't have e-commerce. You call in, you talk to a sales rep, that old model. And so without nourishment, the market didn't really grow. So there wasn't a huge customer demand. So there wasn't a huge reward. You weren't going to grab a huge market share of customers by offering B2B. And the risk was high in that it cost a lot of money to do it, but there was low competition. Let's talk about the future of B2B e-commerce so that we can fully appreciate and understand the present. The future of B2B e-commerce is growth. Industry analysts expect that by 2020, 25% of all B2B transactions will be via e-commerce. Now, how could they possibly know that? Where do they get their numbers from? I don't really know. These guys are either completely making this crap up or they're absolutely genius. I'm going to go with geniuses because it fits the agenda of this video. So let's talk about the current state of B2B e-commerce. Magento has released in 2017 Magento 2.2, which includes native B2B functionality. Things like requisition lists and quotes and negotiated pricing and product exclusivity and corporate accounts, those are all now native features in Magento. And so the risk to enter the market and build an enterprise-grade e-commerce website has been greatly reduced. And so with industry analysts expecting that the market is going to grow by leaps and bounds over the upcoming years, and the risk being reduced, well, you have ideal market conditions because your competition is low because most people either have outdated systems they've built themselves or they've been avoiding e-commerce altogether because the reward hasn't been there and the risk has been too high. So you end up with the absolute perfect storm, perfect timing, and business is all about timing. So if you want to start capturing that market share and improving your B2B e-commerce offering, now is the ideal time. Moving too soon, you would have paid more. Moving too late, the competition will be high. So if you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/ecommerceaholic. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.